Hello and welcome to Ask George, Day 2, Test 2, Multan. Right, well, let's get straight into this. One from Win. How significant is it that England have begun scoring runs without being so reliant on Joe Root?
Well, I guess that's an encouraging thing. All I would say is that I think the top order play with a certain freedom because they know they've got Joe Root coming in later. And I think that's hugely reassuring. So just that he hasn't got runs personally in a big way, doesn't mean that his presence isn't relevant, I would say. But yeah, it's good. They're beginning to dovetail as a team. Look, the only other caveat we've got to add is Pakistan looked poor today, didn't they? They look really, really poor. I actually hate to say it, but I can't remember seeing a more modest Pakistan side.
It's certainly an inexperienced attack, isn't it?
Well, it's an inexperienced attack, and actually the batting collapse was...
Yes.
It was horrendous. Some of those shots were horrendously poor. So yeah, I mean, I guess we've all seen Pakistan play worse, but only during the years when there were a couple of people in the side who wanted to lose. This is just look. They're missing 2 or 3 really good bowlers, but the batting is a worry. That was the softest of collapses today.
England didn't have to be quite as good as. 8 wickets in a session maybe sounds.
They didn't, but there were a couple of great balls in there. Robinson to get Babby. Probably always have to bowl a good ball. I thought the ball that got Rizwan was fantastic as well. Big day for Jack Leach, who I know you've written about beautifully. So England did good things.
No, absolutely.
We just have to be honest about and put that caveat there. This is a tricky period for Pakistan.
Lord and Zoney follows up his question yesterday about whether England have played smart cricket by saying, have we now seen an example today of smart cricket with England's batting that you spoke about yesterday?
I actually think we have. Let's remember there were still 2 guys run out going for crazy singles and a number 3, slog sweeping, heavily. So yeah, but all that having been said, the run rate was pretty conventional. They realised there was a huge amount of time in the game and they didn't have to, sprint. I thought they played pretty sensible cricket, and yes, it's all part of the evolution of this new side. Yeah, they did well.
That was the key, isn't it? It wasn't a return to old ways of the bat, as it were. It was very much we've given ourselves this much time in the game, so let's use it. There's no need to rush once there are 3.5 days left in the game, really, were there?
No, I mean, look,
done the hard yards with. Well, not the hard yards. They've done the scoring quickly, haven't they?
You'd always want more. I mean, there's no reason why you wouldn't want Pakistan chasing 500 instead of 320 or something, but because there's a lot of time left. But look, these are minor quibbles. The question is pertinent and sensible. Yeah, it was a step in the right direction. Yeah, they're doing
perhaps a less pertinent, sensible question. Dominic Booth asks, why didn't England send in a Nighthawk instead of Stokes?
I mean, that's tongue in cheek, presumably. Imagine. I mean, there's a bit of a tail on this side, isn't there?
I think Mark Wood has got Nighthawkish potential, hasn't he, going forward?
Maybe. Maybe.
I thought day 1 was a good addition to that.
But Ben Stokes can still, score at a decent.
Oh, right, absolutely. Jack Rule asks, do 3-day test matches help or hurt the game?
I don't see that they hurt it, actually. So, I mean, again, that's presumably a tongue-in-cheek.
I'm assuming it's tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, there are ebbs and flows. I saw I was copied into a tweet earlier that said, do West Indies still deserve test status? And it's, this year I've watched West Indies beat England in a test series. The ebbs and flows, the ups and downs can be extreme and painful, and Pakistan are obviously going through a really horrid time of things right now. But yeah, 3-day test could be exciting. Of course they can. I mean, Jack's a sensible fellow and he knows that. In terms of whether this is the return that Pakistan wanted to test cricket when England came back anyway, well, of course it isn't. And this will be painful for them. But, the bad times make the good times sweeter, don't they? And there's still a huge amount of talent in Pakistan cricket.
There's still a huge amount of cricket left to play this series as well, isn't there? There's still 1.5 games. There's no reason why... there's no reason why a lot can't happen between now and...
England are not out of sight. We said this last week, after 1 and 2 days, I was being asked, is this a dead cert draw and stuff? And I remember saying, it's too good a game to be that predictable. So I still think that England will want a few more. I don't think the pitch is absolutely impossible. Yeah, there's lots that could still happen. Yeah, it could end on. You would think it would end on day 4, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, so you'd think so. A lot would have to happen for that not to be the case.
But I thought Pakistan,
some would have to drop very quickly, wouldn't it?
I thought Pakistan might bat past England today, and by failing to do that,
well, do you know, at two down, it looked like they might as well. And it was all very serene until Robinson cleaned up Babar, and then the sort of house of cards rather fell from there, didn't it? But until then, it was, as you say, it's no minefield.
No, and I thought Stokes marshalled the bowling fantastically well at times. Bringing Wood back for that 1 over. I think Root had he taken 2 for none, and he took him off anyway. Brought Wood back on for an over, strike straight away. Terrific. And Wood, by the way, offered a lot. But there were a few. Shaquille's wicket. I mean, I was just thinking, he looks so good. He looks so solid. He had everything going for him, and he pretty much gave it away, didn't he? I mean, it was, I don't know, very unnecessary. But maybe they're getting sucked into playing the way that England play a little bit. Maybe they're showing what they can do. But Wood had maybe tied them down a bit, and pressure tells in different ways sometimes. So maybe Wood deserved more than the 2. He ended up with 2, didn't he? I thought he bowled a bit better than that. I thought he was terrific.